So let's do a run through of the specs on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. It is 162.5 millimeters long, really long phone. On the side is 74 millimeters wide, and the thickness, as I said in the unboxing video, it is 8.6 millimeters thick. That's one of the thickest flagship phones of 2017. In terms of weight, it's also one of the heaviest at almost 200 grams. You will feel the quality in your hands. Next up, with all that weight, the phone is IP68 certified, dust and waterproof. It does have a 6.3-inch display, Super AMOLED, and the resolution, you can adjust the resolution to up to 1440 by 2960 pixel. That is your wide QHD plus screen. So really wonderful screen there from Samsung, protected by Gorilla Glass 5. At the back, as you can see, it's also glass and plastic, so really fingerprint prone there. Also, let's look what's inside. It's powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 835 octa-core and has Adreno 540 graphics chip in there as well. The memory is 6 gigabytes of memory, so as you know, as you can expect, this phone will be really fast. Your micro SD card slots for expandable memory, something that's fast becoming obsolete today in the world of flagship smartphones. Dual cameras, 12 megapixel with optical image stabilization, 2x optical zoom, LED flash, can record 4K at 30 frames per second, can also do 1080p at 60 frames per second. For your slow motion videos, you can do 720 at 240 frames per second, which is really impressive. At the front there, you have your front-facing camera, which is 8 megapixels. You can take pictures in HDR, and a whole bunch of nice features in here. Bluetooth 5.0 as well, which is a standard now in 2017 flagship devices. So that's a run through of the specs of this device. And we'll take a look at another option I really loved about the Note 8 is batteries. It's got a 3300 milliamp battery in there, and it lasts. This is the best battery I've used on a phone before, because after a full day's use, I still got 30% left. I don't know along the line down the road how much of that quality in the battery is gonna last, but I'm really impressed about the battery life on this device. There are ways for you to improve battery life. There are some inbuilt applications in there where you can the phone prompts you to close certain apps to save more battery. And even for a 3300 milliamp battery on a 6.3-inch screen, it's pretty small, but I was surprised how well the battery did on this device during my daily use of it. So kudos to Samsung on that one. Now let's talk about the display on the Note 8. As you can see, this is one of the biggest displays from a flagship device in 2017. You have a 6.3-inch Super AMOLED display with WQHD. You can actually adjust what resolution your screen uses by going into your settings here to display and screen resolution. As you can see, you can choose between HD, Full HD, and WQHD plus. Depending on, probably watching a video or how you want to use your phone. To save more battery life, you'll probably want to go with Full HD plus to really enjoy your display. Probably you're watching Netflix, Hulu, something in 4K, or even using VR. You can decide to use the full WQHD plus resolution on this device. A 6.3-inch screen with really thin bezels. What that means is you have an 83% screen to body ratio on this device, and judging from Samsung's production of the highest end displays, you're guaranteed to have the best display in the market today with the Samsung Note 8. So if display is really big for you, this is an absolute go. You should consider the Note 8. Performance on the Note 8, as you might expect, is really good. It's got a 6 gig RAM running Qualcomm's latest 835 Snapdragon processor, octa-core in there. So when it comes to performance, it's really good. There has been, the narrative of how Samsung's performance degrades over time. So I can really tell you, I've used this device for a week, and in that week, it's been really good. Apps run fast, switching between apps is really a breeze. And yeah, there's really no lag here. Games, graphic intensive games run really smooth on this device. I have no complaints about how fast the device runs. It's really good. So on that note, let's move on to the Note 8's camera, or should I say cameras. This is the first flagship Galaxy series phone with dual lens camera setup. As you can see from the back, we've got a dual lens 12 megapixel camera that does 2x optical zoom. It's got an LED flash, and it's capable of recording up to 4K and 1080p at 60 frames per second. As well, you can do slow motion at 240 frames per second and 720p. There is a portrait mode, as everyone's probably realized. That is the theme for 2017. If you have a flagship phone that can't do portrait mode, you're probably lagging behind. For whatever reason, if you get this phone and you don't find the portrait mode, it's actually called live focus, as you can see here. And also it does HDR shots, pretty standard. Got a front-facing camera that does 8 megapixel camera right there. And takes some incredible nice selfies. So looking at the camera app, camera UI, looks pretty basic, pretty standard, but there is a lot that's packed into this camera UI, this camera software here. So first of all, you can see the viewfinder takes up the whole 6.3 inch display of this device. You can turn that off with this button right here, and you have your regular Android camera viewfinder, where almost half of the screen is taken up by controls. You can switch that up with that icon, and you have a full screen for your pictures. Also, there is a Bixby Vision button right there. I'm not a fan of Bixby, but we'll take a look at that in a minute. You can use that kind of like Google Goggles, where you can scan any device and it tries to tell you what it is or give you more information about that device or object or whatever you scan on it. Actually, let's give that a try. I'm just going to try to see what happens here. Now start, agree, allow. So it's trying to, so as you can see, it recognizes the image. I'm going to click on shopping and see what comes up. So no matches. So Bixby is really underdeveloped right now. I highly recommend not using Bixby at all. So it's image, see what it comes up with. It comes up with a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with that fast charging. Let's see if I can try another image. I'm going to put up here my iPhone 10. Shopping, see what comes up. No matches found. So yeah, so that is for the Bixby Vision. Let's put that aside. Let's go back. And if you swipe right, you're presented with a bunch of different filters. As you can see, a bunch of filters there. Filter effects, you can change between. You can actually change how you reorder your filter effects. When you're done picking whichever one you want to use, you can say done, and you can swipe back to your main viewfinder. You can also swipe to bring in the left options. As you can see, you've got different modes you can use. You've got auto, pro, panorama, slow motion, hyperlapse. You can use the food option. If you want to take pictures of your food, you can use that option to really bring out the color. And what's interesting, you've got your virtual shot. I'm just going to take a quick look at virtual shot. So what this does is you take a kind of panoramic photo of an object, and then you're presented with a kind of 3D video where you can, I'll just show you an example right here. So we go here, and here is a quick example of that. So as you can see, this is a virtual shot image I took. I'll show you how that works in a minute. So you can tilt your phone, and you can see how I've seen these features in Twitter tweets from different sponsors, where you can move around, like it's a kind of like a virtual room where you can move around. So I'm tilting my phone, and I have this kind of 3D view of this image I took of the Daydream VR. So that's really nice that you can do that with this device. So let's go back. So another thing is going into the settings, which has even more features for this camera. You have your picture size, you can choose your video size, you can choose from UHD, QHD, all these different resolutions, and you have a bunch of notes in here which says you can take pictures while filming in 60 frames per second in full HD. You've got video stabilization isn't available when shooting in 1:1 ratio, and a bunch of other nice notes in there. And you have your tracking AF, which is you can focus on an object, and while you zoom into that object, it kind of pans into it. So that's what the tracking AF does. You got your timer, HDR, you can set it on or auto, picture size. You have your video size, where you can select what video size you want to use. You can do save picture as previewed. That's another option. Your shooting methods, and that's a nice set of features. Again, you can tap anywhere on the screen if you're taking a selfie, which is a nice feature because this is a huge screen. So it's nice to know if you're taking a selfie, you can tap anywhere on the viewfinder when you're ready to take that picture. So you can turn that on. It's really convenient. Show palm, I've never tried that before, but it says hold your hand out with your palm facing the camera to have your picture taken after a few seconds. So I'm guessing what that is you cover the camera. Once you take your hands off, it automatically takes your picture after a few seconds. You can also tap on the heart rate sensor to take a selfie. So you can tap on this. Let me try that. You can just tap on it. Just tap on it once, and that takes a picture. So those are convenient ways of taking a picture, taking shots. Moving on, you got your motion photo. That's like live photos on the iPhone. A lot of phone manufacturers are using this feature now, where if you take a picture, it records like a 1 second video prior to that picture. You can turn that on with this option right here. Grid lines, location, review pictures. So video controls. I also love this floating camera button here. So turn that on, and you can put your camera button anywhere that's convenient for you. So as you can see, there it is. I can move this around, so I can put this here and just take a picture, and you can move it anywhere to you. So it's a huge screen. So Samsung has taken into consideration how huge the screen is and made it even more convenient for you to have these different options. So that is a quick look at the camera UI. For some sample shots and videos, take a look at some of the samples and video shots I've taken with this phone. Overall impressions I have for this phone. First off, it's really fast. If you're looking for a high performing smartphone, this is it. If you're looking for a huge phone with really high quality screen, 6.3 inches. This is it. If for whatever reason you love using a stylus pen, as you can see here, this is the pen. When you pop it out, you can quickly choose any of these options. I usually go with live message, which is the most fun to use. What that is you tap on it, you can write something fun, and after you do that, you can actually send it. So when you send it, it sends in this animation. So you can do preview, and that's what you actually send. The problem I found with this is some phones don't support or the size of these mini animation videos. I tried sending this to a couple of friends. I wasn't able to send it via your regular SMS. So if you're using this feature, you might consider sending these type of messages over like your IM services like WhatsApp or GroupMe or Slack, or stuff that supports bigger size media. So apart from that, there's really nothing about the stylus pen that makes me want to use it. It's just another gimmick by Samsung, in my opinion. If you're a fan of the stylus pen, you use it a lot, that's really nice because it gives you this convenient way of quickly taking down notes. So probably for students, I guess, if you want to quickly take down the notes, you can just, do a quick, pop here, create a note, and you can write whatever you want, and that automatically saves. So that's really what the pen is for. I'm not really sure what other use I'll have for it, but that is it. Another gimmick feature I'm not a fan of, or I probably never would use, is the side apps here. I've tried so hard to get used to, just doing this and choosing whatever app I want to use. I've never been a fan of it. I haven't gotten used to it. But if you have, that's good. Just know there's a quick way to access your most used applications here just by swiping from the right. So there they are. And what else? Also not a fan of the fingerprint scanner and its placement. The good thing is you have multiple ways of unlocking your device. There is actually an iris scanner in there too. So it's kind of like a mini Face ID, but it unlocks based off your iris, your eyes, whatever. So another nice feature is you can actually hide your taskbar. So let's see. Say you're in an app, for instance, you can actually hide the nav bar there. So there it is. So you have a really full use of your 6.3-inch display. The nav bar is gone, so there's it in all its glory. The full use of the phone. So that's a nice feature if you can swipe up to bring it back, and that is another feature I love. Let's go back to the home, and you can actually swipe from the corner. Let me see if not sure if I can get this to work. So there is a one-handed mode here. So most times you're going to be using this phone with two hands because of how big the screen is. But there is a nice nifty feature where you can, probably you're in bed at night and you're trying to reach somewhere, you can just swipe from the right bottom corner here, just swipe up, and it makes the screen really small for one-handed use. So that's a nice feature, and you can tap outside the area to take it back to full screen. So there is again, swipe from the corner. Trying to see if I can get that to work. And then another feature is, or non-feature, is Bixby. Bixby really sucks. Like, I've used the Pixel the last year, so being able to say, okay, Google, and get whatever information I want has been a really lifesaver. But for Bixby is really underdeveloped. I highly recommend not using it. You can try, but it doesn't work. It doesn't give you the right outcome, the right results. So I will skip the Bixby for now. Probably it is Samsung CEO has to work on it, but for now it's really underdeveloped. So that is it for the review of the Galaxy Note 8. Remember, you can get this from AT&T for as low as $31 per month, or you can pay a full price of $9.49, excluding taxes. So again, this has been easy for OneTechStop.net. Thanks for watching. Bye.